Turn to Colossians chapter 1 in your Pew Bible. That's page 1352 in your Pew Bible. The text I'll be using is in my bulletin. We're beginning with verse 15 of 1 Corinthians through verse 15 of Colossians page 1352 in the Pew Bible. Beginning with verse number 15 through 23. Colossians chapter 1, verses 15 through 23. It reads, "He is the image of the invisible God," talking about Jesus, "the firstborn over all creation. For by him all things were created that are in heaven and that are on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created through him and for him. And he is before all things, and in him all things consist." Verse 18, "And he is the head of the body, the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he may have the preeminence. First, for it pleased the Father that in him all the fullness should dwell, and by him to reconcile all things to himself, by him whether things on earth or things in heaven, having made peace through the blood of the cross." Verse 21, "And you, who once were alienated and enemies in your mind by wicked works, yet now he has reconciled in the body of his flesh through death, to present you holy and blameless and above reproach in his sight. If indeed you continue in the faith, grounded and steadfast, and are not moved away from the hope of the gospel which you heard, which was preached to every creature under heaven, of which I, Paul, became a minister. Amen. Verses 15 through 23 of Colossians chapter 1. I'm using as a subject today, if you continue in the faith. If you continue in the faith. Let us pray. God, for this preaching moment, I thank you. I ask that you please forgive me of my sins and forgive us of our sins. Create in me and in us, O God, clean hearts. Restore the right spirit in us, God, and bless us this day. Let your word go forth, Lord. Let it touch and let it bless in the name of Jesus. Again, Lord, hear this prayer that we offer to you in Jesus' name. Amen. If you continue in the faith, again, I see you. God bless you. God bless you. If you continue in the faith, as I heard Richard Roberts say, the son of Oral Roberts, faith is stepping out into nothing and believing that something is there. Stepping out into nothing and believing that something is there. And on this journey, my brothers and sisters, you got to have faith. You got, it's rough out here. It's crazy out here. And you ought to have something that will hold you, that will stick to you like grits does. It'll hold you like oatmeal does. It'll hold you. We need something like that spiritually on our journey. Because day by day by day, we are getting confounded, compounded, confused with all that's going on in our world. Amen. You would think people would have common sense, but we find that that is a lost art now, because people do whatever they want to do, say whatever they say, and just be hurtful and mean, and it just seems like it's just crazy. What has happened to our ethics? What's happened to our morality? What's happened to just doing good? Well, I'm here to say to you that this is the world in which we live in. We have a president that would abuse people, who would talk about him as if he was whatever. He tried to act like a king, but he's not a king. But that's the president. But his time comes to an end. Amen. If it's not this election, it'll be the next election. This time is coming to an end. But right now, we're living in times where we wonder what in the world is going on. Not just verbally, but when you look at our world, earthquakes, floods, storms, all these things, fires taking place. What is going on? And I'm saying to you that it is important to have faith. It's important to have faith on this journey. It's important to hold on to your faith. It is important to continue in your faith, because if you don't have it, you'll go crazy. If you don't have faith, you'll be afraid to go out of your doors. If you don't have faith, you'll be afraid of when you go to the stores to go shopping because you think somebody's going to take something from you. You got to have faith on this journey and know that God is with you every step of the way. You got to know this. Children are afraid to go to school. They're afraid to go home. They're afraid because of what the world has done. Can't drive on the Jack Ryan or Interstate 57 without some fool taking a gun and shooting the gun. And some people say, I won't drive. Some people say, I won't fly. Some people, I can't do this. I can't. You're going to live in your own prison when you don't apply faith in your life. You'll be locked up mentally and spiritually and physically if you don't utilize faith for your journey. We come here on Sundays to be encouraged with our faith, but what we do, we take our burdens to the Lord and leave them there on Sunday. And Sunday afternoon, we pick those burdens back up and carry those burdens with us Monday through Saturday And then we sing again, take the burden to the Lord. Leave them there. Put your faith to work. Listen, it's rough out here. Time is filled with swift transition. Not a earthly move can stand. Build your hopes on things eternal. Hold to God's unchanging hand. Trust Him who will not leave you whatsoever years may bring. If thy earthly friends forsaken, still more closely to Him cling. Covet not this world's vain riches that so rapidly decay. Seek to gain the heavenly treasures. They will never pass away. And when your journey is completed, if to God you have been true, fair, and bright, your home in glory, your enraptured soul will you hold to His hand. God's unchanging hand. Hold to His hand. God's unchanging hand. Build your hopes on things eternal. Hold to God's unchanging hand. Put your faith to work. Hold on to God's unchanging hand. When I was growing up as a kid, I heard this song, tempted and tried. We've often made to wonder why it would be thus all the day long, while there are others living about us, never molested, though in the wrong. When death has come and taken our loved ones, it leaves our homes so lonely and drear. Then do we wonder why others prosper, living so wicked year after year. And then the songwriter says, Father alone, F-A-R-T-H-E-R, Father alone will know all about it. Father alone will understand why. Cheer up, my brother. Live in the sunshine. We'll understand it all by and by. We can appreciate a song like that, but it seems like a song that's so distant away. When trouble knocks at your door, you want your trouble to leave right away. When things don't go well, you want that problem to just leave right away. But sometimes we got to go through some things so that we can see what God has in store for us. That's why the songwriter said, I open my mouth to the Lord and I won't turn back. I will go, I shall go to see what the end is going to be. My brothers and sisters, this thing about faith is real for your journey. And in order to know what God is able to do for you, if you say, I am a child of God, if you say, I love the Lord and He heard my cry, if you say, I am a Christian, if you say, I'm a part of the family of Christ, you're saying that you're willing to continue in the faith. That's what I want to talk about. If you continue in the faith. There are people who are on the journey, but when something happens, they fall off track. They say they're on a journey, but yet when something goes wrong, they don't know how to handle it. They say, I love the Lord, but when somebody talks about them, they can't stand it. I love the Lord, but somebody do something to you, you can't handle it. Yeah, I love the Lord, but somebody say something on your job, say something at the store, or look at you funny. We just can't handle it. But if you are a child of God, it is important for you to understand the faith factor that you say you have. They have faith when you said, I love the Lord. Faith when you gave your life to Christ. Faith when you said, Jesus is my Lord. Faith when you said, I believe in God. Well, continue in your faith. It gets rough out here, but you got to continue in your faith. So what does God's word say? Paul, who wrote this letter from prison, wanted to visit the people at Colossae, but he could not. The city itself was like a metropolitan city. Similar to Chicago, had a major waterway in which there are a lot of economic concerns, money, and all these things happen in the city. But Paul was writing to a young church because people started saying some things, spreading false doctrine that perhaps began to affect the people of the church at Colossae. So he writes this letter to them to encourage them on their journey, for them to continue in the faith. So this is what he writes. And starting with verse number 15, this is what we share in that text. He is, talking about Jesus, is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. For by him all things were created that are in heaven, that are on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions, or principalities or powers. All things were created through him and for him. John put it this way: in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and life was the light of men. The light shined in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. God is trying to say that he was there in the beginning. Jesus was there. Everything was made by our Lord. Everything. And so Paul is just reminding us that Jesus is the image of the invisible God. He came to fulfill that which God had promised us in the Old Testament. He came, God in the flesh, God incarnate. He showed himself alive to let me know that he's fulfilling the scriptures. Everything that was made came from God. And so what I want to share with you is this: if you continue in the faith, you will remember who God is in your life. I said if you continue. See, a lot of people like to lay their religion down when it doesn't go their way. But if you continue in your faith, you will remember who God is. Let me make it clear. God woke you up this morning. The air you breathe belongs to God. The eyes you used to see, God gave them to you. The hair that's on your head, God allows to grow. It is God who gives you the strength to make it from day to day. God is the one that put the birds in the sky. Yeah, God, the sun, moon, stars, clouds. It's God that allows the rain to fall. The rivers and the seas. Don't you realize it's God? It's time that you say you're a child of God to recognize that if you can continue in your faith, you know who God is. You know who God is. Why do you act ashamed? You ought to know for yourself who God is. You ought to know. Nobody ought to tell you. You ought to know for yourself. You ought to know that it's God who strengthens you, God who blesses you, God who ordains you, God who gives you life and breath and strength. Are you all with me here today? You got to know who God is. You talk about how good God is, and you can't stand when somebody says something to you. You're trying to talk about how good God is, and somebody talk about you can't handle it. You're talking about how good God is. Well, if God's been good to you, you ought to understand what Sunday school lesson is all about. God teaches us how to love through Jesus. Even when things go crazy, God teaches us how to maneuver ourselves in that situation to live a life that is reflective of God's love. He loves me. I know he loves me. And because he loves me, I love you. Now you may whatever to me, but my responsibility is to love you as God loves me. Because if I give you the love that God gives me, God's going to bless me. Hallelujah. By being obedient to his word. You got to know who God is. When folk get on your nerve, that's not the time to say, I'm going to tell what's wrong. I got to get it off my chest. Y'all stop that foolishness and live lives that's pleasing to God. If you love God, if you continue in the faith, you will know who God is. Playing games with church, playing games with God, doing things trying to make you think that if you do this or that, you're going to change your mind. God is God. God is God if it rains. God is God if it snows. God is God if there's an earthquake. God is God if there's a flood. God is God. And I recognize that when I woke up this morning, that God was saying, Craig, I'm blessing you to be in my day. I am God, and beside me there is none other. If we continue in our faith, we've got to know for ourselves who God is. That's what Paul's writing to the church. I know you're all young church, but God is the creator. my life. Something else out of this text. It says, verse 18 through 20, and he is the head of the body, the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn of the dead, and in all things he may have the preeminence. He's first and foremost. For it pleased the Father that in him all the fullness should dwell, that by him to reconcile all things to himself. By him, whether things on earth or things in heaven, having made peace through the blood of the cross. If you continue in the faith, you will remember that God is the head of the church. And let's make sure we understand this, y'all. The church is not to be considered a building solely. We have places of worship. But don't think that the church is brick and mortar. The church is in your heart. He's the head of the body. He's the head of you. And if the church is real, the church would not just be filled up in a building, but there'll be church in your home. There'll be church where your children can see church. There'll be church on your job where others can see Christ in you. There'll be something about how you live your life that reflects the body of Christ, who is the head of the church. Talk to me, baby. Yeah. He's the head of the church. And that's why I say to this congregation that this is the Lord's church. You hear me say that? It's not my church. It's not the deacon's church. It's not the trustee's church. It's not the auxiliary president's church. It's the Lord's church. We have stewardship responsibilities. But the head of the church is Jesus Christ. The head of the church is Jesus. The head of the church is Jesus. And I believe that once we understand that, church will be all right. When you come to church, you will want to come to church to be with believers. You will want to be in a fellowship with others. You will want to know what the Lord has to say, because it is through the church that we hear about the Lord's love. It's by the church that we hear about Jesus living, dying, and being raised from the dead, and his spirit being with us. It is a part of the church that we hear. We can pray together. We can sing together. We can shout together. Yeah, because it's a highway to heaven. Nobody can walk up there but the pure in heart. It's a highway. We come together to walk, talk, sing, shout, pray together, because we are the church. And when we put our faith to work, if we continue in our faith, we will know that the Lord is blessing the church. And there is something about the physical church that we come to. You will want to see about your brothers and sisters. You will want to sing the songs in the presence of others. You will want to be testifying how good God is in your life. But the church ought to be in you also. Don't wait till Sunday morning to have church. You ought to have church Monday morning. You ought to have church on your job. You ought to have church in such a way that people can see Christ in you. When I taught at VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University, they used to have these Christmas parties. And the year that I was there for the Christmas party, somebody said to me, it's not like it was last year. Okay, so I just did a little inquiry about what happened the previous year. Well, in the department, they only had like one black female. And she wasn't an instructor, but she was one of the administrative assistants. And so they were telling me that this person last year was dancing on top of tables and everything. And what had happened was it got her intoxicated. And she started dancing and stuff, okay, on top of the table. And you know, all those things were good for us. You know, they enjoyed that. But the year that I was there, she didn't do that. She did not do that. And I believe that was because God was in me. Huh? And there was another person looking at her. And she probably knew better than to do what she was doing the previous year. And so the party same. There ought to be something about your life that changes folk. There ought to be something about the way you walk, something about the way you talk that would change the lives of people you come into contact with. You are called to be Christian. You are called to be the church. You are the church. And if you continue in the faith, you will know who is the head of the church. You will know who is the head of your life. It's Christ who is the head of your life. Christ is the head of the church. But there's something else in this text. Yeah. Verses 21 and 22. It says, and you, verse 20, that through the blood of the cross, we know a change has come about. That's why we preach in the church. And verse 21 says, and you, who once were alienated and enemies in your mind by wicked works, yet now he has reconciled in the body of his flesh through death to present you holy, blameless, and above reproach in his sight. In his sight. Not what other folks say, but in his sight. You, who once were alienated and enemies in your mind by wicked works, yet now he, the Lord, has reconciled in the body of his flesh through death to present you holy and blameless and above reproach in his sight. You all got to catch this. In his sight. Because people will talk about you, but when you know who the Lord is, you're taken care of because it's in his sight. Look at this text. It says that we were reconciled. Means that we were restored to a friendly and family relationship. Yeah. And not only that, we look at the text, we were reconciled. Again, being brought back to that state that we ought to be in. He brought us back to him. And God, not only that has he done, we find that the Lord has redeemed us, meaning that he compensated for our faults. When he went to Calvary, he reconciled us to himself. When he went to Calvary, he restored us back to him. When we went to Calvary, he redeemed us. And somebody ought to be glad about that. There are too many of us who are, help the Holy Ghost. There are too many of us who still have not accepted what the Lord has done for you. You don't believe still that the Lord has freed you from sin. You don't believe that the Lord has given you another chance. You don't believe that God has worked this out for you. But you say, I'm faithful. Well, if you're faithful, you know what the cross means to you. It means that while we were yet sinners, he died for us. It means that, that while we were messing up, he died for us. He restored us. He blessed us. He redeemed us. He forgave us. He brought us back to the relationship. If you know God, if you continue in the faith, you don't let what folks say about you, I remember when, get you down. Because you can say, I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Was grace that brought me safe thus far. And grace will lead me on. Somebody needs to catch hold of this, because you still are in captivity when you can't say we remember who God is in our lives. If we continue in our faith, we will know that God is the head of the church, that God is the head of our lives. If we continue in our faith, we will remember that God reconciled, that God restored, and God redeemed us. Now the joy of the text is this. It's at the very end here. It says, this happens if you continue in the faith, grounded and steadfast, not moved away from the hope of the gospel which you heard. You got good news there. If you continue in the faith, you are reminded of the faith, grounded, being steadfast. You're not moved away from the hope of the gospel, the good news which is in you, which you heard, which was preached to every creature under heaven. And then the last verse, portion of verse 23, says, of which I, Paul, became a minister. Wait a minute. Are you saying that this Jesus changed your life? I hear Paul say, well, you know, I used to persecute Christians. I used to kill them. I got permission to do what I did, but on my way to Damascus, something happened. Light shine, knock me down. Who are you, Lord? And the voice said, I'm Jesus that you're persecuting. And there's something that happened that made Paul get up and start telling somebody about Jesus. And what I'm trying to say is that if you continue in the faith, and you know God is God, and you know that God is the head of the church, and you know that you have been redeemed and reconciled and restored, you want to tell somebody about it. You want to tell somebody what the Lord has done for you. You want to tell somebody how God has made a way for you. You want to tell somebody how God has blessed you. You want to tell somebody outside of the walls of the church that God is able. You want to tell somebody that God fights your battles. You want to tell somebody that God is able to keep you from falling. You want to tell somebody of how God is a doctor in your sick room and how he's a healer. You want to tell somebody that God is able, to carry you through. You want to tell somebody, Let me work with this, because my brothers and sisters, we come to church and we act as though this is a performance. But if God has been good to you, you ought to be worried about who's looking has changed my whole life. If anybody asks you just who I am, tell them I am redeemed. Let me tell you how powerful this is. Listen to me. Where there was hate, love now abides, and where there was confusion, peace now reigns. Hallelujah. I'm walking with Jesus. I'm a child of the King, and it's all because I am redeemed. And this is why I gotta let you know this. I gotta let you know this. I'll tell of His favor. I'll tell of His love. I'll tell of His goodness to me. How good is it? How good? Well, He purchased my redemption with His own precious blood. And in Him I've been set free. Come on, sanctuary choir. I am redeemed. I am redeemed. Can anybody testify that you're redeemed? Bought with a price. Jesus has changed my whole life. The doors of the church are open. Oh, if anybody asks you, this is the time to join the church. Man, woman, boy, or girl, this is your day. Just who I am. Invitation. Tell them I am. Those of you who desire prayer, make your way to the altar. Make your way to the altar. Make your way to the altar. Bought with a price. Come on, make your way to the altar. Change my whole life. Whoa, anybody, just who I am, tell them just join somebody, just join them for prayer. Join them for prayer. Lord, we come here saying we have faith. And your word helps us to understand that if we have faith, we always remember who you are. And if we have faith, we will remember that you are the head of the church, that you are the head of our lives. If we continue in faith, we will remember that we have been redeemed, restored, and reconciled. If we continue in faith, we can tell somebody else just how good you are. God, you've been good to us. Old folks say you've been better to us than we've been to ourselves. And so God, we say, yes, sir. That's so true. We just want to say thank you for being good to us. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for your mercy. Thank you for your compassion. Thank you for your care. God, just thank you for being who you are in our lives. We need you, God. It's crazy out here. It really is. But God, make sure, please, that we have the assurance of your presence. Your word says that grace and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives. Oh God, give us the understanding that you walk with us, you talk with us, you sing with us, you shout with us, God. Don't let us be afraid to go out into this world. God, let us be bold in our conviction, bold in our walk, bold in our talk, knowing, God, that you are with us every step of the way. So God, we praise you. We really praise you. We praise you, God. We thank you for your blessings. Oh God, we praise you even though there's flooding in the southern states. We praise you, God, even though there's been earthquakes in the west. We praise you, God, even when there's been fires out in the west. We praise you, God, as the hurricane season approaches us. We praise you, God, even with tornadoes, because we realize, God, that without you, we can do nothing. And so, God, I'm just asking in the name of Jesus that you will bless us. In the name of Jesus, that you'll be our doctor. In the name of Jesus, that you'll be our lawyer. In the name of Jesus, that you'll be our friend. In the name of Jesus, that you will help us pay our bills. In the name of Jesus, that you will help us keep gas in our cars. In the name of Jesus, that you will love us when the world hates us. In the name of Jesus, that you'll be there with us to let it be known that everything is going to be all right. In the name of Jesus, we pray. In the name of Jesus, we ask your blessings upon the Beth Baptist Church. In the name of Jesus, I'm asking, dear God, that you will release more spiritual awareness. In the name of Jesus, bless this church with our finances. In the name of Jesus, that we can meet our obligations. In the name of Jesus, we're asking that you touch our hearts to honor you, God, in our giving, to honor you, God, in our doing. In the name of Jesus, let your Holy Spirit abide. In the name of Jesus, fill us with the Holy Ghost. In the name of Jesus, we need you on our journey. In the name of Jesus, guide our feet while we run this race. In the name of Jesus, hear our prayer. In the name of Jesus, hear our prayer. Go, God, make a way out of no way. Oh, God, open doors for us. Oh, God, hey, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. Can't make it without you. So Lord, hear our prayer. Please, God, hear our prayer that we offer to you in Jesus' name. Amen. 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 Hallelujah.